I'm Corey Micah, and today I'm here to teach you about the foundations of change. The foundations of change is the foundation, the platform in which we start to make any change in our lives. We apply this foundation of change when people want to have a change in their swimming. This is the same foundation that works if you want change in any sort of area of your life. This is why it's a foundation that is universal. This foundation comes first, and then you can move on to have the foundation of learning or healing if you want that in your life, if you want to make some sort of change in what's happening in your life. So as we see it for swimmers, they want to maybe heal from a past bad experience or to be able to learn how to be free in the deep water. These foundations come after the first foundation, which is the foundation of change, how change happens in our lives. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So before we even talk about this foundation, let's roll back a little bit and just kind of understand what the human experience is made up of and how the human experience works. So us as human beings, you could say we're made of two things. There is your flesh and bones, that is your physical self that resides in real time. Right now, everybody can see it. We can all agree upon it. Your physical body is here right now. It can't live in the past. It can't go in the future. It can only be in the right now. So if somebody were to walk in this room, they would say, well, there is Corey's physical body sitting in her office having a conversation with you. So it is this flesh and bone piece of ourself. So I am going to write this up on my little board here. Here I am, arms, legs, head, my physical self. Then there's also this other part of ourself. Our thinking part of ourself, our feeling part of ourself, our analyzing, our spirit, our soul, our essence, however you want to put this. This part of ourself, the part that moves the physical part, that brings in the information, tells the physical part what to do, this part of yourself can live in the past or be always out in the future, in some future place, or it can be connected to right now, to where your physical self is in the present now state. This is, we can come and go from our physical state. As we say, we daydream, our head's in the clouds, or we say we're really grounded or at home. We're freaked out. This is, being out ahead. We're very future focused or stuck in the past, right? We have all these directions that our non-physical self can exist. And so we represent that just like an aura, right? Like a circle. That when we are what we call in life grounded, right? We're connected, we're together, we're present, we're calm, cool, and collected. This is the representation, this is the language that we have around having that non-physical self and your physical self together. Lots of words and language to talk about this sort of neutral space, the Zen space, right? Being at home, egocentric. This is starting with you. This is where all of you is grounded. All right. Now, how we talk about ourselves, the experience of being human, is, as I was saying, is we have these energetic ways of talking about ourselves, or these ways in time and space to talk about ourselves. And you could say, on one side exists positive emotions and feelings, and of this non-physical self leaving, speeding up, leaving the body. We say that if this is calm, cool, and collected, over here might be excited or overjoyed. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but just like super so excited. I just can't even control myself. I think of kids like, I cannot even believe, or, I was laughed so hard, I wet myself. We lost physical control of ourselves. Kids just like that energetic bouncing around that they're doing, right? They're so excited. And so this sort of building energy that comes all the way up here, and I'm going to call this one euphoria. So we have this building of excitement and positive energy all the way till we have this complete disassociation of, I just let it go. I just floated away. I was on cloud 9, something like this. That this is a process of positive emotions to completely disassociate and let go. On the other side, we have language of negative emotions. And same thing, this idea of this energy is rising and changing. And this disassociative place is we call panic. It is the extension of that part of us that we know called fight or flight or freeze, right? This is part of that pattern here. This is a normal human conditioning that we do to protect ourselves, right? When I get close to a cliff, I kind of freeze up. Or a lion jumps out, I run away. I have this flight reaction. And just like over here, I had some words. There are stages that happen between here and here, right? This is like nervous. You could say you have butterflies in your stomach. Paralyzed. Scared stiff, right? We have a lot more words on this negative side of things, these negative association and feelings. Now, this is just how the human experience is, right? We kind of all day long are sort of slipping and sliding between these different things. Or we might even do what we say, flip out, right? I was so excited, I flipped out and freaked myself out. Or we might be spinning out. You might be in a nervous state, let's say, and you're just kind of spinning there. You're not really moving out of it, and we're just kind of in this state that we're not really connected to it, and we're spinning out. So this describes our human experience, positive and negative things. We use these to have the joy of life, to feel happy, to feel peaceful and grounded. Maybe we even use some of these negative emotions to motivate us. I feel this sense of anxiousness, and I say, I better get myself prepared for that speech so I can calm down and actually deliver it. Because the further out we are on either end of the spectrum, not only is this energy rising, but we're losing control of ourselves. right? This is when we are together, this is when we have the most control of our physical bodies, because our non-physical self and our physical self are residing in the same place at the same time. I can take in the information, I can put information out, I can be in charge of what's happening. Maybe I don't always know what the result will be, and this is a great example in the water when people are totally collected, when they're present and slow and calm, and then they put their hand out and push on the water. They maybe thought they were going to have one action that was going to come out of that, but because they have the presence, they can go, I thought it was going to be this, but it was actually that. Great. This is learning, right? Now I have learned, when I push like this happens. Interesting. Then it brings that curiosity. Well, if I push like this, I wonder if the opposite would happen, right? It's just like how kids learn. When I drop something off of my high chair, the dog comes over. Interesting. I wonder if that would happen again, right? Cause and effect relationship. They're just there figuring things out. This is how learning happens. So if we're coming back to our foundations of change. So if I want to make a change in my life, the first thing I need to know is, where am I on this? What the heck is happening? Am I grounded with what's going on? Like I was describing about a swimmer who's using this calm curiosity? Or am I nervous or anxious or scared stiff? Having this energy in my body is changing not only the emotional state of myself, but also the physical state of myself. In the case of swimming, if I am so scared stiff and then I go to push on the water, I have no idea what's causing what. So our first thing to make the foundation of change is to feel what is right now. Remember, your non-physical self can try and pick up stuff from the past. It may be creating feelings in your body right now that are actually about the past. In the past, I had a terrible time in the water. So today, I'm going to feel afraid and have all these afraid, scared sensations in my body, even though there's nothing actually bad happening right now. But this is a very real thing. This is what our brain does, is take stuff from the past and put it into present time. And so the first thing for us to do to interject is to feel whatever we're at. This puts the brakes on. This starts to bring in some information. Oh, I feel really tense. Curious. Our feelings, why having an understanding of our feelings is so important, is because our feelings will drive our actions. When I feel tense, I act tense. When I feel nervous, I am kind of speedy, so I'm not in as much control of my body. When I feel really excited, a kid, they're just wiggly pants. They can't really control. They're moving about wildly, right? We have positive associations and negative associations. It's just to understand, well, what is it? Where am I? Stopping and feeling. Because our feelings will always drive our actions, and our actions give you your results. This is the place that most people are wanting to make that change. I want to change the way my life is operating, the things that I'm getting in my life. I have an angry relationship with my kids, let's say. I'm always yelling at my kids, and my kids are angry back at me. This is a result, a way of being that is derived from this pattern of feeling actions, results. So getting in touch first, feelings, physical feelings, emotional feelings, anything we need to do to put that brake on. This is where I am. Now the question is, where do we get these feelings? Where did the feelings come from? Sometimes it feels like they just come. They just are. It's just the way the world operates. But yet, when I go to the water, I don't have a feeling of anxiety. It doesn't say anything about anxiousness to me. And when somebody else goes to the water, they do feel anxiety or anxiousness. This is real. We each have different feelings. When I walk into the kitchen in the morning and there are dishes everywhere, I feel a certain way. When my kids walk into the kitchen and there's dishes everywhere, they feel a different way than I do. So it's not like the circumstance of a messy kitchen or a body of water dictates how somebody feels. So where do our feelings come from? And they come from our thoughts. When I walk into the kitchen and it's a mess, my thought is, I'm going to have to clean all this up. Those kids who are not being responsible, nobody takes care of their stuff, I'm being taken advantage of, right? I have all these sorts of thoughts that lead me to this feeling of anger and frustration, and then I'm putting those dishes away, clunk, 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 and I'm unhappy with my family. For our swimmers, their thought is they're getting the thought maybe from the past that when I was 8 years old, I went in the water and the teacher told me to do some things. I didn't know what the heck she was talking about. Everybody else seemed to know how to do it. It was terrible. I made up this rule about myself that I'm not a swimmer, that I don't understand things. This isn't a safe place to be. Or I had somebody push me in the water, and I thought, I am never going to let that happen again. And so it produces this feeling from the past. We pick it up from the past. Now, this is a very useful thing in life. It definitely serves us positively. Like, when I've put my hand on a stove and got burnt, I now remember from the past, hand on stove, use caution. Proceed slowly to figure out if that stove is on or not, right? It's a useful mechanism that our brain does, but sometimes it gets hooked on a loop of overdrive, and it's just always acting as if that stove is bright hot every single time, even though, in fact, sometimes it is not. Or we are, like the case of my kids or a relationship with the water, I'm acting as if it's always terrible. Matter of fact, I might even be angry before I even walk into the kitchen, right? Before I even make it down the stairway, I may already be feeling my sense of anxiety of, I know, they didn't do it again, and being upset before I've even collected the evidence. One day I might be surprised and they cleaned it up the night before. There is always that hope out there. But our thoughts, it's really our thoughts that drive these feelings. And then these feelings give us our actions and our results. So the first place of the foundation is change is finding out what you are feeling. That puts your brakes on. Then we can start to use our curiosity to go back up one more step to check out your thoughts. The other thing we could put here are beliefs. Sometimes our thoughts are so strong and they're so concrete, they appear to us as beliefs, like this is what it is. The kitchen should be clean once a day. That is a rule across the board. The whole universe, every mother in the world knows the kitchen should be clean, right? I act as if this is a universal law that this is a belief that everybody has, and just these two little people in my house somehow are not on board with it. Really? Not really. This is just my thought. This is how it is. And it's fine. I can keep that if I want, but it's very useful to start to notice, this is my thought, feeling, action, result cycle that I'm on. If I want to make a change, I come in at this feeling level to get that stop. Then I can start to question what is the thought or the belief that is driving this feeling. And I can't go from a feeling of, we don't ask people to go from one feeling to a 180-degree feeling. Or excuse me, one thought to a 180-degree other thought. But we see what feeling do I need to change to or move in the direction of to change my actions in the world. And we're looking for a thought that's just a little bit softer. So when I go into the water, I know that having a feeling of complete anxiety isn't really going to get me to feel free in the water. So when I go in and I say, well, my thought is to go so slow that I could be curious about if the water, if it's actually dangerous today or if it's me remembering from the past. Just a little softening there. And so instead of the feeling of complete anxiety, I could say it's allowing for the anxiety with a little curiosity. Maybe just 1% curiosity. And that's enough to just have a different sort of opening to change this way of being. So this is where I'm going to leave us today, to give this for you to chew on a little bit, to just really start to notice first that this is what happens in your life, that there are times when I am grounded and I have the most learning and healing here. And there are times when I'm in these other places. It's not good or bad that you're in these other places. It's just a normal way that the human life operates. But let me just start to notice it and to then get a little bit curious about, what are my thoughts that might be driving these feelings? This is going to provide you that first opening for the foundations of change. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.